Quality is guaranteed. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, Ali.
Hello, Helen.
Right, do you want to address the elephant in the room?
It's so weird because I was wondering how we were going to start this, and that was the phrase that I was thinking of in my head.
Of course, because we're twin flames.
Naturally. Yes, so anyone who is watching, I currently have a giant plaster on my face.
Yeah.
I haven't cut myself shaving.
And also, it's not just a thing you're doing, like...
Yeah, well, I mean, I was trying to bring back Naughty's Nelly, which is quite funny because my childhood nickname was Nelly.
Yeah.
Just spelt slightly differently. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah.
But no, I had a dermal anchor, so a piercing, and I have to wear a plaster for a few days, and it is the most hideous plaster. It's like contour gone wrong.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Wes was just doing this for me. Just to take the... I had it done at Penny Royal by Wes, our friend. So Penny Royal is a tattooist and piercing studio in St Neots. And Wes Start again.
You're good.
Touched up Bathew.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Well, not at the same time as me getting pierced. But yeah, and then Wes, I've been thinking about dermal anchor for a while. And yeah, Wes did it.
And I watched.
And you watched, and I bled like a bitch.
You really did.
But again, partly my fault.
Well, yeah, and my fault. And because as you started bleeding profusely, I said to Wes, oh, yeah, we were kind of doing experiments with rum last night, so perhaps we shouldn't have done that, because obviously it thins your blood, alcohol, so that was a bad idea.
And that is something I never do. Like, if I'm getting tattooed, I will not touch alcohol the night before, or the day of.
Yeah.
And, just for some reason, it just kind of went out of my head yesterday. And, you know, I was helping to disinfect my 3 holes that I have in my mouth now.
Yes. So, and we sort of said that actually the gin particularly was what you were swilling your mouth out with. So it's just like an oldie-timey solution to...
Absolutely.
Tooth removal pain.
But yeah, this plaster is the world's giant plaster, and it looks like there's just poop smeared on my face because it's so dark.
I actually think it looks like you're going with a vibe. Like you've just gone, yeah.
Yeah.
Just you wait.
It's my alter ego.
No, but people will just start. I reckon you'll start something.
Me?
If it does, it f***ing started or restarted on Cars of the Macabre.
Absolutely. But I don't think Nelly got this going, so I don't think this Nelly's going to get that going either.
No. Who else was
there? He just wore it on his face just because, right?
I don't remember. Goobs is going to find out who started the
Perhaps
fashion
we're just being completely ignorant, and he actually needed the plaster on his face.
I mean, maybe he did. Maybe it was a thing. Oh, yeah, to cover a basketball injury. So it was for a reason. I love that. I feel like, I mean, I've got enough scars on my face from years of acne, so I could just put them anywhere. Oh, sorry.
I'm going to try and find some, like, slightly smaller sort of novelty ones.
But he did say, because it's supposed to, the reason why you've got the plaster on is to keep it in place, isn't it? So that, like, your skin can sort of tighten around it.
Absolutely.
So surely you shouldn't remove it.
No, you can change it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to be quite careful not to pull it, because I'm going to have to clean it as well.
Yeah, okay.
But no, yeah, he said you can change it.
Okay.
It'd be a bit, so...
Once, Mum left me unattended in the car, and I don't know how old I was, but I was very young. I mean, my parents were still together, so I was very young. And there was a first aid kit in the glove compartment, and I decided to take plasters out and stick them over my eye. And then she came back and she was like, what have you done? And I'm like, I can't get them off, because obviously they'd stuck to my eyelashes, my eyebrows.
No.
I don't know why I did that.
I used to play in the first aid kit.
Yeah, I
didn't
feel like...
have a lot of first aid in there. Well, that weird noise was Gilbert trying to shut a window, by the way, not anything untoward.
That's our fault for leaving them open. It's hot in the pod lab today.
However, Ali is still wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a comfort thing, I think.
Oh, also, I feel like it goes with the plaster. It's tonal. So,
Yeah, fashion.
Exactly.
Look it up.
Yeah. Start just wearing plasters all over me. Right, anything else to talk about?
No, just everyone, if you can, head down to Penny Royal. Give them a follow.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Yes,
they're wonderful
brilliant.
people.
Really wonderful. It's a fantastic studio. It's in a lovely old building.
Oh, yeah.
St Neots is really nice.
I'm quite a fan of St Neots. I didn't... Yeah, just walking through it, it's like, it's probably got some bad bits as well, but it's like, this is quite a nice town.
No, it's really nice. And if you park in Riverside Car Park, you can walk over the river to get to the
that
studio.
was nice, and there were swans.
Yeah, and then there's a vegan cafe around the corner, which is lovely, but we got there too late for it today because it shuts at 4, I believe.
Something like that.
So we'll go next time. And because Wes took me there last time I visited, and I got a cherry Poppins smoothie. Oh. And it was delish.
We did have a cherry lollipop, though, from Penny Royal.
Yes, we did.
If you go there and you get something done, you'll get a lollipop.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just like hanging out there. It's just, there's good vibes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's just something where it's a place where you just feel comfortable.
And all the artists are amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. They're not sponsoring the show. They can if they want to, but we just
so that's
genuinely love
Penny
them.
Royal could sponsor Cars of the Macabre.
Yeah. But to be fair, we'll just give them shout outs anyway, won't we?
Yeah.
So there we go.
Absolutely.
All right then. Well, today, so I was watching a documentary series on Netflix. Surprise, surprise. I'm literally always doing that. Called Homicide Los Angeles, and I was literally just watching it because it kept popping up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just watch it. And this was the second series. And I came across a case that I didn't know, and it was very connected to cars.
Love that.
So I actually decided to do this one.
To do this
one before the other case. Like I said, it's a very macabre case, very related to cars. And after watching it, I can't believe I hadn't heard of it, because it was a really big thing that happened. So have you or Goobs ever heard of Mickey Thompson? Thanks, Reg. Mickey Thompson? Have you ever heard of Mickey Thompson?
Oh, was he a boxer?
No, it's car related, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Only when you just Googled him. Okay. So I did know of him, and I knew of him through tyres. So he has a tyre brand.
Oh, okay.
And we'd call them Mickey Thompsons. So they're very famous off-roading tyres.
Okay.
And also wheels and things like that. So that's how I knew him, but I didn't really know his history, and I definitely didn't know that he was part of a macabre case. So Michael Lee Thompson was born on the 7th of December in 1928 in a place called Alhambra, California, in the United States. He bought his first car at 14 years old, which was a 1927 Chevy that he purchased for $7.50.
Oh, really?
Isn't that amazing?
And he was 14?
He was 14.
Imagine buying a car for $7.50 now.
Imagine buying what can you get for £7.50 these days?
Well, nothing.
Not a lot.
No.
Possibly a coffee?
Yeah, but
Could you get a coffee for that? Yeah. Like a big one for that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But you couldn't get much else for that.
No.
So in his early 20s, Mickey worked as a journalist for the Los Angeles Times while pursuing hot rodding. And for anyone who doesn't know, the term hot rod relates to a car, generally speaking, a classic, especially in my mind, that's been rebuilt and or modified with a bigger engine and optimised for speed and acceleration. Yes, that's what a hot rod is.
Ah.
So he's really into cars, literally from day dot. Mm-hmm. Bought his first car at 14, got straight into hot rodding, which is amazing. And he really did have a massive impact on the automotive industry, and much more than tyres, because that's all I kind of thought of him. So it's actually quite interesting researching more and more about him. So he also designed something called the Slingshot Dragster in 1954, which became the dominant dragster design until the 1970s. So that really had an influence on drag racing. which he was involved in when it was a very new sport back then.
Okay.
So, that's very, very cool.
See, you say drag race, instantly I go to RuPaul.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. That's the only way we differ.
Yeah.
I go straight to cars. But, so the slingshot dragster...
For me, that looks like you're going to die, doesn't it?
It's amazing, isn't it? So it was a real pioneering design because the driver actually sits behind the car's rear axle rather than in front of it. So, he completely designed this cool thing. Look at that, that's amazing. And whilst he was working as a journalist, he also ran his own muffler shop and drag racing strip in the city. So he was really
busy man,
keeping himself busy. And then he founded the Mickey Thompson Equipment Company to create high-performance parts for race cars. And in 1963, he established Mickey Thompson Tyres, which still very much exists today. So anybody who doesn't know what a muffler is a device for reducing the noise emitted by the exhaust of an internal combustion engine. Okay.
Cool.
So Mickey Thompson became an innovative car builder and racer, and he was described by some as the fastest man on wheels, with over 370 records. In fact, he was the first American to go over 400 miles an hour.
Oh.
So he was cool.
I don't think you could get me in anything going that fast, other than a plane.
No, I would.
I think my heart would be left back at the start.
Yeah, no, I would do that.
No.
I just love fast cars. So this is actually a description taken from the Mickey Thompson Tyre official website, because I just thought it kind of encompassed him quite well. So Mickey Thompson is a giant among racetrack heroes. He is the driver who holds more auto speed records than anyone on earth. He is the tyre innovator whose tyres were used on fast attack vehicles in the Gulf War. He is the man who never gave up. And he actually started the whole kind of idea of stadium racing. So racing cars in a stadium. That wasn't done before. And his wife, Trudy, was a promoter for him. And his son, Danny, also raced. So they were a very car-orientated family.
Awesome.
So now I'm going to take us to March the 16th in 1988. So we're moving forward a little bit.
Quite old by that point.
Who, me?
No, Mickey.
Oh my God! I thought she said, you were quite old at that point. And what are you nodding for?
I just went quite old at that point. That was it. Why would you think it was? You weren't born then.
Yes, I was.
Oh yeah,
I was.
Yeah, you were.
But if anyone else,
I thought you said 1968. No, but I heard 1988. Now you've confused me now.
I confuse me. It's fine.
I've confused myself. It's not
we're in it
me.
together. So, just to reiterate, March 16th in 1988, and I was alive then, only just, where the family lived in Bradbury Estates in Los Angeles, which was a gated community, and the security at Bradbury was extremely strict. It wasn't easy to gain access to the estate, so you needed ID.
Fort Knox.
Yeah, basically, there's quite a lot of gated communities in California. I don't know if I've told you I've been to California a few times. I've also been to Vegas. And someone I knew lived in one, and they actually had to, if someone was coming to visit, they had to put the names of that person on the gate.
Names not on the list, you're not coming in.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was really, and I mean, this was a particularly strict one, but I think they have always sort of been like that.
Okay. I'd quite like the idea of living in a gated community. It would make me feel special.
Yeah, I do.
And safe.
Or,
I mean, I feel safe where I am now, but
my brain goes to, what if there's a psycho living in the gated community?
It'd be quite quick to figure them out, I think.
Or would it?
Yeah.
So despite this, both Mickey Thompson and his wife Trudy were shot dead on their driveway early that morning. So it was around 6 a.m. They were just getting in the car, going to go to work.
This is why people shouldn't go out at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
6 a.m.'s for dead people.
So a neighbour saw 2 young men cycling away from the scene. Bike.
Cycling, yeah. Bike.
Another witness saw 2 young men riding erratically on 2 bicycles away from the scene as well. So 2 eyewitness statements there. Oh yeah, we can't offend Tom. Sorry, Tom.
He does like his cycling.
I know he does. I'm just not on board with it. I'm so sorry.
I worked in the centre of Cambridge, so driving out with them lot was painful.
Yeah.
But I think Tom does a lot of like comps that like off road and stuff, doesn't he? So that's all right.
He does both.
Tom, listen, we love you, all right?
Yeah.
We do love you.
I mean, you know, I don't like automatic gearboxes in cars.
Yeah.
This is another thing I don't like.
So now you're pissing off Gilbert. He drives an auto, doesn't he?
Have I sent you the meme that it's like a video and someone gets into a car and they see the automatic transmission and they start gagging? And it's brilliant. I'm going to find it. I'm going to send it to you.
See, I drive a manual. I have driven automatics. Like, I've driven Gilbert's car, but like the hearse and the limo that I used to drive, they were automatic.
So Goober's going to block me now because I've offended him. I get it with some vehicles. Yeah, and like that massive SUV I borrowed from Genesis was automatic. I do get it. It's just that, oh God, he's tugging at the heartstrings now. He's going on about arthritis.
Hang on.
No,
Wait, hang on.
If you're a tiny violin
Playing
tiny
for you.
Now we're offending everybody. Okay, yeah. All right. So I've offended cyclists. I've offended anybody with an automatic transmission.
Anyone with arthritis.
Anyone with arthritis. Anyone who likes small violins.
What's your passion in life? Very small violins.
Tiny
small.
I like to pretend I'm a giant. I don't know. I've just fucked something up. Sorry, for people who aren't watching this, I keep looking at Goobs because he doesn't appear on the podcast.
But he writes us
He's
notes.
just off the side and he writes us notes on the monitor. And we get distracted and then forget that actually this is an audio entertainment situation. And some people watch it.
His random fact about having arthritis when he was diagnosed with arthritis.
You wrote it on the monitor, mate. Anyway,
shall we?
Let's get back to... Okay. All right. Anyway, back to the case. So jewellery had been left behind at the scene, and Mickey had around £1,000 in cash in his wallet, which was also untouched. So it didn't appear to have been a robbery that had sort of gone wrong.
I mean, this is controversial. I might have taken a tenner. I did.
Well,
times is hard, all right. Times is hard.
But also, they've killed them.
May as well take the lot.
I mean, I'm not condoning it.
No.
They've already done something really, really bad. But well, we'll find out later anyway. But
stick a bit of petrol in my car because it's so expensive now.
Well, they were bike. So
they might have needed oil for the chains.
Okay. Anyway, the neighbours heard gunshots. And then Mickey yelling, "Please don't hurt my wife," before more shots were fired, followed by silence. And when the bodies were discovered by police, this is so sad, Trudy appeared to have been trying to get away, and Mickey died looking towards his wife. They were really in love. Oh. They were honestly they were sort of like hashtag couple goals. It's just, not that it's nice anyway, but the fact that they were so in love and, had a lovely marriage and A stun gun was also found at the scene, as well as orange peels, suggesting that the perpetrators had
a snack.
Yeah, basically.
Or need to get that vitamin C up.
Yeah, they'd just been waiting for them to come out of the house. Yeah. Just casually waiting to stun them and gun them down.
Oranges, the snack of the killer people.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, they're obviously quite sort of fitness conscious because they're eating oranges and they're getting away.
And they're cycling.
Bikes. But
do you reckon they have the seated pants that are padded?
Maybe. But the thing is, on a serious note, obviously, with it being a gated community, it would have been a lot harder to get in and out of the car, wouldn't it? So maybe that's why. So if it wasn't a robbery, what was it all about? The media was all over this case because the victims were so high profile. And news helicopters even showed footage of the bodies on the driveway.
Oh my God.
They had been covered up, but like you could still see a hand and like it was just a lot, you know. I don't feel that was appropriate. And it was a very, very high profile murder. So looking at possible suspects, number one suspect was a man called Mike Goodwin, who was also in the racing industry and was a one-time business partner of Mickey Thompson. And they had been working on stadium racing events together, which included introducing indoor motorcycle racing events. But this ended when Goodwin ran up bills, didn't pay people, and was basically an...
Oh, that sounds slightly...
That sounds like people who work with me.
Who does that?
Yeah. So this then began a long and bitter legal battle between the two. And witnesses reported hearing phone calls from Goodwin threatening Mickey because of these lawsuits. And he really did make no secret of the fact that he had a massive contempt for Thompson. You know, he wasn't keeping any of that sort of on the down low. But he did have an alibi for the morning of the shootings. He was at the gym.
That would be my alibi, wouldn't it?
Do you go to the gym? Do you ever go?
Yeah.
Not in the morning, Goop says.
Not now, because obviously, you know, I'm on the road for work before our gym opens. But I'd be like, oh no, I was in the gym.
The gym.
In the gym.
So he had this alibi, and then Goodwin and his wife walked off on a boat, fleeing the country.
Again,
so I know, dodgy as... So he couldn't be questioned any further because he'd gone. He had sailed away, quite literally.
But could they not get him back if they still needed to question him a bit further? Obviously, he's not charged with anything, but the thing is, just because he was at the gym doesn't mean he didn't have a hand in it. Does that make sense? Yeah,
but then he's obviously right off before anyone can possibly get any evidence if it was him. You know, it's like...
Again, but you stay suspicious about that. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
So unfortunately, without any further evidence, the case went cold. You're right, mate.
He's very confused about we started.
I'll send you the meme. Is it a meme if it's a video?
No.
That's only a meme if it's a still?
Well, no, it can be a moving thing, but it tends not to be long.
I'll send you a memeing of it. It's funny. It's just two people just...
Don't be suspicious. In a graveyard. Don't be suspicious. Don't be
trying not to be suspicious, but they end up being really suspicious, which is what we would do. It's fine. I'll send you the memeing. So, there was no further evidence, and so the case went cold. Yeah. It's crazy,
isn't it? Why are there not cameras? If it's a gated community, surely cameras would have picked these up.
Yeah, but it was 1988, and it's not Britain. We've always had more cameras than anybody, haven't we? So we would be like, there'd be CCTV.
It's a gated community for the rich.
Yes, but so there would have. I mean, surmising. I reckon there probably would have been cameras in on the gated bit that you come in, where there would be also a security guard. But then residents aren't maybe going to want cameras on their driveways. That's a thing now.
They would have had to be let in.
Not necessarily on bikes. They were on bikes, don't forget. So they could have snuck in.
Yeah, but the bars aren't that wide because there's no point in having them because then you can fit a person through there if you can fit a bike through there.
I wasn't there, so...
Why not?
I was too young.
It's not an excuse, Helen. I'm sorry, I need to know.
So, fast forward to 1994 and the cold case unit of the LA County Sheriff's Department passed the case over to two new detectives who take a look at the case again. So, fresh sets of eyes. You know, they might find something that other people overlooked. So, as well as Goodwin being a suspect, another possibility could have been the connection to a guy called Scott Campbell, who was Mickey's nephew, and he had actually been murdered in 1982. He was thrown out of a plane by a man named Larry Cowell, pertaining to drugs and his involvement in such things.
Can you imagine that? You're just seeing your death coming towards you.
So scary. I wouldn't be in the plane in the first place. So Mickey Thompson actually testified as an expert witness against Larry Cowell.
An expert witness?
Yeah, expert witness against Larry Cowell in the murder trial. And Larry Cowell was involved in the world of narcotics. He was a drug dealer. He was also involved in racing.
Oh.
And his trial ended around 8 months prior to the murder of Mickey Thompson and Trudy Thompson. But, you know, as good a lead as that was, it didn't go anywhere.
Was he not put in prison for that murder then? Of the nephew?
Yeah, but it could have been related to it, though.
Oh,
so there could have been.
Because there's a couple of connections there. I mean, the big one is the murder of Mickey's nephew.
Yeah.
Nephew.
And then, obviously, you know, Mickey is a
In
witness
racing,
and it's drug-related. There's lots of people, there's gangs in, you know. So, yeah, this lead didn't go anywhere, so the team focused their attention back onto Goodwin.
Who's scarpered.
Who has scarpered. So, just going back a year. So, in 1993... Goodwin had been sent to prison for fraud, so he's obviously come back at some point and got caught. So he's back in the country and he's in trouble again. So the cold case detectives went back and spoke to witnesses of the murders just in case something was missed.
Yeah.
Because, it's easily done, isn't it? They spoke to a lady called Alison. Not you, but another Alison.
I was born then, wasn't I? Yeah. If it was 93, yeah. I was definitely born.
You were in 93, yeah. But at the time of the murders, she was a teenager.
Okay.
And she wasn't originally interviewed by the police because I don't think her parents allowed it. That's sort of what it seemed like to me.
Okay.
So they didn't ever have a witness statement from her. But as it turns out, Alison was a key witness. Her family's house was situated sort of above the Thompson property. And Alison told detectives that on the morning of the murders, she heard a loud scream and looked out the window to see Trudy Thompson crawling on her hands and knees down the driveway, while Mickey Thompson was kneeling with his hands raised, begging two men not to kill his wife. Alison then saw Trudy get shot before the shooters turned on Mickey. She described the same two suspects previously reported, who then fled on bicycles. So this corroborated... Excellent. Corroborated previous eyewitness statements, but detectives needed hard evidence to tie the two suspects back to Goodwin. But isn't that mad? Like, she saw all of that and had not been interviewed.
Yeah, that doesn't really make very much sense to me. Why she wasn't
fucked her up as well. That's a horrible thing to see.
Well, yeah, exactly. But what if it was her parents saying no to being interviewed? But I can't.
It wasn't very clear.
No, but if it was, why?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they thought it would disturb her, but then she'd already been disturbed by seeing the two murders.
Seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just me surmising. Again. So, Mark Lilienfeld. Mark Lilienfeld, a lead homicide detective on this case, decided to follow Goodwin to an airport. So Goodwin was really in their sights and they were sort of just trying every way they could to get some sort of an idea of his personality, what is he like, he's obviously a bit of a gob, all the things. So followed him to an airport where the detective posed as a regular passenger, hoping to talk to him and maybe elicit some information, because he did like to talk and talk and talk. So
narcissists do, and usually people in those kinds of positions are massive narcissists.
Yeah, and probably a sociopath. I'm just guessing, obviously. So he had a tape recorder with him because, he's stealth, and why wouldn't you have a tape recorder with you back in the day? And Mark described Goodwin as talking bull, making grandiose claims and making up stories, which show detectives that this man isn't a truthful individual. Mm-hmm. So, it's giving them sort of an idea of his self. So Mark Lilienfeld then decided to use the TV show America's Most Wanted to generate tips, hoping to identify the two shooters. In the documentary, he does say that he used this method in either another case or other cases. Okay. And, when you have something like that, you'll get a lot of people ringing up with talking absolute. Yeah. But obviously they really wanted some more leads, so it was a possibility. So in amongst the crazy phone calls, there was one from a girl who dated Goodwin, and she described how the pair had been watching a crime show on the Thompson murders, and Goodwin confessed to her that he was responsible for arranging the killings.
I said that.
Mm-hmm. Bragging to her that he would never get caught. So Goodwin was actually married at the time of the murders to a lady called Diane, which is who he off with in the boat. So after the previous tip, detectives decided to survey his now ex-wife, hoping, to maybe get something from her, because if he's been boasting
woman
to this
scorned
girl, you never know what she might sort of give up information-wise. So whilst monitoring Diane, they recorded a conversation in which she stated that Goodwin had also admitted to her that he was responsible for the Thompson murders. So that's
two
women now saying that. The next...
Both exes, though, as well.
Both exes as well,
But, so that kind of is... Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, you might get one crazy bitch going, oh yeah, he did this, but having two...
Yeah, that's true.
So...
What's the likelihood? Unless he was an absolute rat to both of them.
Maybe. But the next piece of evidence, which also came after America's Most Wanted had aired, was an eyewitness statement from a man named Ron Stevens, who had seen some suspicious activity in the days leading up to the murders. He had actually tried calling the police, but for reasons unknown, they kept brushing him off.
Great police work. Yet
why.
Again. Fabulous. You're desperate for tips and you're getting that.
Yeah.
And you're not paying attention to it.
It's not clear whether he tried back when the murders happened to give information, or whether this was slightly later on.
However, either way, they weren't listening to it.
Exactly. So he lived a few blocks away from the Thompson house. He came home early one day, this was around 4 days before the murder, and his wife came out to greet him, informing him that she was really glad he was home because she'd seen a suspicious-looking car parked outside with two men in the car, and they had binoculars. Oh. It's a bit weird, isn't it? I mean, don't generally get that in, like, it's not like it's a nature reserve, it's a gated community. What are you going to be looking at?
What are you spying at?
Exactly.
Spying on.
I like spying at. What are you spying at?
Yeah, it's very common sounding.
I like it. So Ron approached the car to talk to the men, find out, what they were doing, but it sped off. However, he did get a good look at the men in the car, and one of them fit the description of Mike Goodwin.
There we go. Well, that's 3. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, sounds like he was doing a bit of surveillance. So the detectives decided to arrange a lineup with Goodwin, and both Ron Stevens and his wife positively identified Mike Goodwin as the man they saw in the suspicious car. Goodwin was then arrested, but he did continue to tell the press that the whole thing was a witch hunt against him. And
shut up, you
prune. I'm a victim and all this sort of stuff. So,
spare me.
The documentary is very good. It's just one episode, so there's a lot of information cut down and sort of summarised. So, I obviously wanted to say a bit more about Mickey Thompson, and they're sort of, I guess they're presuming everyone knows who he is, so they don't really go into it too much. They just like to hear of it, but
it's quite a niche thing.
It is, exactly. So But so the shooters are still unidentified at this time. And Goodwin's defence used this along with his alibi of being at the gym.
The gym.
Did
Did he go to the gym?
you go to the gym?
Yesterday, actually, yes.
Yeah. So, yes, he had an alibi for when the murders were carried out. So this is really what his defence were kind of going for, and the fact that they didn't have these two shooters. So, however, Mike Goodwin was clearly full of hatred towards Mickey Thompson and made absolutely no secret of the fact that he wanted Mickey Thompson dead. He wanted him to suffer, and the nature of these awful shootings shows that this was premeditated.
Yeah.
After deliberation, the jury found Goodwin guilty on 2 counts of murder, and he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms without parole. So, finally, 30 years after the brutal murders of Trudy and Mickey Thompson, there was justice. However, the 2 shooters are still out there. They were never caught. So that part of the case is actually still ongoing.
It's still open?
Yeah. So they are still trying to
it's like
find
that,
them.
The one in the last episode that I told you about, the murder in the library, that's still open.
Really?
Yeah.
There must be so many
Yeah.
cases. Well, it shows, they've got these kind of teams of detectives going back over cold cases.
Yeah.
Because obviously technology's changed, methods have changed.
If they've managed to keep hold of some sort of evidence that needs testing, that's all changed.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. So I am going to end this on a nice note, actually.
Okay.
So Mickey's son, Danny, decided to resurrect his father's 1968 Challenger 2 Streamliner and use it to break the piston land speed record at Bonneville on the 50th anniversary of his father's original run.
Oh, my word.
And on the 12th of August in 2018, he did just that. Danny Thompson broke that record by driving 459 miles an hour.
No, it wasn't even just by a little bit, was it?
So...
Oh, wow.
It's such a horrible story, but I think,
that hits you in the feels
legend lives on. His son is still doing all his and he, Mickey Thompson really did change the face of racing. It's mad, and I don't understand how I didn't know about this.
No,
it's bonkers. But yeah, so I mean, it's not a massively long case, but I did think it was a really interesting one.
Yeah,
and very apt for Cars of the Macabre.
Apt.
What did I say? Apt. What does apt mean then?
I don't know.
What does apt mean? Can you Google it?
Inept is useless.
I am
adept is useful. So it's very apt. So it's very for what we do.
Okay. I'm going to use
suited
apt going forward, just to confuse
people. I don't know if apt.
It's not even a word. I've said it so many times now it's lost all possible meaning, even though it didn't have any in the first place. Goobs is looking it up.
No, I didn't think it was.
It's not a word.
It sounds like a word.
Yeah, okay.
Apt.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Apt.
It's all right. It's a hot day.
I'm
actually regretting putting on this hoodie.
Thought you might be.
We're recording another episode of this, though, so it's coming off.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good idea. Do you have anything to say about that?
Not really. Not with it. I'm glad this Goodwin, he sounds like an absolute... So I'm quite, I'm glad he's put away and everything like that. It's just... I definitely... you could get the shooters. But he is obviously the mastermind behind it all.
Yeah. But...
And those... The shooters were probably people that did it for a little bit cash.
Yeah.
They are not functioning members of society. Probably very low level criminals.
Bicycles.
Generally.
But I would definitely recommend the documentary Homicide Los Angeles. And so I started watching series 2, but there isn't series before. And they are quite short episodes and they are very concise. So, if you do just want like a hit of true crime for your bad self, go for it. It's pretty good. So, do we have random facts today?
I don't think I have one.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
This is probably the most random fact I've ever talked about.
Okay.
So I absolutely love the smell of germaline. love it. It just smells so
Is that the
clean.
pink stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like similar to Savlon. I love the smell of Savlon as well.
Yeah, I think I like the smell of Germaline then.
Yeah, I've got some in my cupboard. You can smell it in a minute.
It was just going to go for like...
I love it. Do you like the smell of Germaline, Goobs? You don't know? I can introduce you to the smell of Germaline. I do also like the smell of TCP.
Yeah.
Anything like very clean, chemically
Clinical,
clean,
yeah.
clinical. Love it.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've got a random fact.
We're gonna have to.
We can't keep going on about GoPros in your random fact, dude.
Oh, but he has developed an addiction to bulk buying, which I can concur that because I went in your house to pick Ali up on Friday to take her to the dentist, and there was a lot of loo rolls sat in the middle of the hallway.
120 rolls to be precise.
Ali, why are there so many loo rolls in the hall?
Well, Mark's just discovered TikTok shop.
Yeah, I'm gonna abstain. Did I use that right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to abstain from that because I just feel like that's going to be dangerous.
There's a lot of stuff on there that looks like it's from the Shein website as well, like some of the clothing pics that I've seen. But yeah, he's gone on like a spree. There's 120 toilet rolls, 100 bin bags, 5 litres of washing up liquid.
Sorry, because the O of oat milk was covered by your laptop, I really thought that said cat milk. What the fuck is he buying cat milk for? Is it milk from a cat or milk for a cat? Anyway, it's not.
Considering we don't have a cat.
No, it's oat milk.
Yeah, there's loads of like fabric conditioner,
so
like washing tabs.
Where does the stuff come from?
I don't know.
The ether. Just the internet.
Just the internet.
Just the sky. Amazing.
It's obscene, the amount of stuff. Like, by the way. But then these like, well, I get it now. It's cheap. Mm. We're saving money in the long run. And if there's ever a pandemic again, we're going to be fine with toilet rolls because there's still an unopened pack in the airing cupboard now. And
you've probably still got some Peshwari naans in your freezer. Because you bought an awful lot of them as well, didn't you? To be fair, that was by accident, though.
Yeah, that was hugely by accident.
Yeah.
That was my up. So that's what started the bulk buying.
Okay.
It was the Peshwari naans.
You did sort of, well, not really bulk buy. You did a multi-buy of, when Aldi had the chocolate croissants.
Oh, the vegan. The pain au chocolat.
The vegan pain au chocolats, yeah. Have you still got any of them left?
Yeah.
No, you guys are really good. I'd have smashed them.
To be fair, we forget what we've got sometimes. And that's what happens. And then we'll go and buy more and be like, oh, we've still got some.
Right, well, I'm just waiting for you to get some... I tell you what you should bulk buy, some containers. No, containers, so I can come around and sort your house out and OCD the out of it. Absolutely. Containers!
I've seen some on, I think it was Temu or something, some under bed ones that are quite nice.
Well, basically, what you want for... Right, I'm going to go off on one now.
I don't think the listeners care about this bit.
No, but I'm telling you anyway, I don't care. This is our podcast, so we talk about what we want. So, if you want to tidy... and people may disagree with this, but so if you've got a cupboard... Get containers for the cupboard so you can stack the containers so you can fit them all in. If you get see-through ones, you can see what's in them. You can even label them.
People are going to think we're hoarders.
No, they're not hoarders. They're normal. I'm abnormal. Get a label maker. Oh,
he will have
fun.
I'm not being funny. Even Eddie will be labelled if he gets a label maker. No? You put a little label on his collar.
Saying best boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically I'm waiting for you guys to buy containers. Yeah. So look on TikTok shop for those. Stackable, see-through. Okay?
See-through?
Yeah, because then you can see what's in them. Or, they don't have to be see-through. You put labels on them, but I find it easier if you can just see what's in it. It's more visually pleasing because then in the containers, things can be OCD'd as well. It's just like multi-layers of OCD.
Who's the person that like makes a living off of like tidying tips?
Quite a few people.
Michelle Kwan?
No, there's quite a few people. There's like shows about it.
She's a ice skater.
She's not a tidier. Well, she might be, but she's not a professional tidier.
I don't know who I'm thinking of them. But yeah, anyway, that went on another tangent, like we like to do.
As always. Has that tangent allowed you time to think of a random fact?
No, I'm stumped.
How many piercings you got? That's a random fact.
I've got to count. This could take a while.
Right, you've got your dermal, you've got 2 in your nose, you've got 1 in your lip, you've got 1 in your tongue. You've got
2 in my belly button.
2 in your belly button.
I've got 4 holes there, 4 holes there, 3 down there, 1 in there and 1 in there. And I used to have my septum pierced twice and my sternum.
5 million. There you go.
Human pincushion. To be fair, it's not that many compared to a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, well,
yeah.
I guess that's kind of it. So thank you very much, Mark, from Park Lane Studios, for making us sound very professional and videoing ourselves as it is like this.
Are you scared how I'm going to end this?
No, I was actually going to say we need to remember to, people, please like, subscribe, download, comment, share the love.
We're really bad at this.
If you have any spooky stories relating to cars, please send them to carsofthemacabre@gmail.com.
Let us know if we can use your name.
Yes, please do. I've got a little folder that I'm putting them into, and when I have enough for a couple of episodes, we can start them as episodes.
Love that. I'm excited for that.
We need more stories though, so come on, folks. Even if they're small ones.
Yeah, still send them in.
And even if it's a very tenuous link to cars. Even if there was a car in the background of the situation.
Or I'm going to put it out there, if it's just an awesome, spooky or true crime story, just send it in. We want to read them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Make them funny, if you can.
Or we will, because we won't be able to read and or write.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
The cat sat on the mat.
Is there anything else we need? Oh, Instagram.
Yep.
Cars on the Carb. And I think that's it. So... Until next Until next time, stay spooky bitches.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to watchpttv.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.